guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to this week's episode of the 13th Floor Podcast. I am Cece.
I'm Alex.
I'm James.
Alex is in a weird mood today. And we're talking about treasures.
So I'll be talking about my wife today because she's my treasure.
You are so sweet. I was hoping that you'd say something like that.
Yeah, of course.
James, how you been?
Been good. How about you guys?
We both just looked at each other.
I'm here to talk about Chuling, my Asian wife that you have not met.
Alex, we've been great. Beside Alex making untasteful jokes.
That's right.
But we've just been, cooped up with the kids because it's been freezing outside. Yeah. So it was a long weekend that extended into the week because school was canceled, but we survived it.
It's hard to just sit around all day.
It is.
Especially with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just wanted to move. So it was very loud, very chaotic. Lots of fighting up. Lots of breaking up fights. Mm-hmm. There was a lot, as Alex would say, there was beef in the streets.
That's right.
Yeah. James, did you have to break up any fights where your spiders getting mad at one another through their little terrariums?
Oh, show them things.
That would be fun, but no. I did realize, just hearing you say that does sound like a nightmare to some people, being locked up for days with spiders.
Yeah.
But no, it's not been a problem for me. I mean, I've just had to make sure they have enough water because it's been so dry. And all I've been doing is chilling out, eating salami, and playing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, the first one or second one?
The what? The
first one or second one?
Oh, first one.
Very interesting.
Let's not delve into the video games.
I was so close to going on a tirade. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I cut you off, James.
All right. See, what's interesting about you? What you got going on?
Lots of stuff.
Boring. Anyway.
Oh my god.
What do we have for our icebreaker today, James?
I was thinking about it because we're covering treasures, and I think I've asked something to this effect before. But is there any possession you have that you couldn't imagine? His name is
Gilbert, and he just takes over my body.
Oh goodness! That would be a great. I would fund that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a romantic Lifetime movie about a woman from the big city moves to a small town, falls in love with a demon that possesses her, and it's called Prized Possession? I would totally watch that.
James.
Prized.
You stop that right now.
I love it.
I would watch it, but I don't approve of it.
With Belphegor met Sally.
I like how quickly you came up with that idea, just off of a random comment from Alex over here. What was your question? It was about prized possessions.
Yeah. Do you have anything tangible that you wouldn't part with?
I mean, aside from my
hard mode, no wedding rings or children, like a possession.
Possession.
I love my wedding ring, but I usually take it off while I'm cooking, and then I just don't put it back on for some time. So I
told you didn't even have to include the wedding ring, so why are you talking about it?
I'm just saying that wouldn't be a problem for me. What would be a problem for me is...
Yeah, dig yourself a hole.
Our wedding photos.
Yeah, I'm ready to burn those. Let's burn them.
Oh my gosh.
Get rid of them.
Go hang out with Chuling, I swear. Marital...
she doesn't talk bad about her wedding ring.
Marital bliss. No, I love my wedding ring, but... I can exclude it from this answer. I obviously wouldn't want to lose it, but the prized possessions for me would be, I have like a flash drive that has all of our wedding photos. I need to get most of them printed, but like the actual physical prints of our wedding and then the children's births Gwen Archer Valerie's first photos. So I think that would be my answer, because that's something that, when you think about a photo, it's something that is going to carry your history forward. And I'm hoping that my children are interested in preserving those down the line, but that is what I would be devastated if I lost.
When we all become transhuman, they'll have to upload it into a special folder on their hard drive.
Right now it's on a hard drive, James.
Well, yeah, but it'll be internal hard drive.
Internal hard drive.
You do need to copy it over to a different hard drive.
Well, I've copied them over to 2 hard drives. Okay. Technically, it's across 2, but anyways.
This is a possession that we can't go without?
Yeah.
Or we can part with? What?
That you can't part with. What would depress you beyond belief?
I mean, it is kind of hard not to say the photos. Those are pretty great.
Yeah, I know they are.
What else? Other than family related stuff, because that's boring. I'm going to go with...
His PS Switch.
My PS Switch. You sound like every boomer ever.
I don't know anything about video games, so further proof.
You know better than that. I would say... He's so tickled.
I crack myself up. I'm sorry. All right, go on.
I don't know.
Wow.
What?
You have nothing important to you?
I mean, well, everything I said with that not family related, so that kind of makes it really hard now that I'm thinking about it. I've mentioned before, I don't even keep it at my house, but I do have that blanket my parents gave me a long time ago after I graduated high school, and it's got all my old jerseys sewn into it from every sport I played.
Yeah.
From when I was on the Pollywogs.
Yeah.
Which was the first soccer team I was ever on. All the way up to...
the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, all the way up to the Lumberjacks.
These all sound so made up. I think your parents just paid random dudes to just play ball with you.
Probably. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's the only thing that's like not family related I can really think of. What about you, James?
I may have mentioned this before. I know I've mentioned this to you guys, but the school I went to growing up doesn't exist anymore. But when it was torn down, somebody took some of the wood and made a pen out of it. It's a very nice pen. And I don't get sentimental about a lot of things. I mean, my car, which I don't know if that should count, and that pen, pretty much.
I like it. That's a good answer. I didn't know that you had that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think it's time for us to talk about some other treasures as well. Treasures that extend beyond our own lives. Yeah. And we told James that he's going first today. So, James, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Sutton Hoo.
What's that?
And, well, it is an amazing archaeological site with a lot of treasures, both historical and, like, literally of value. But before I delve into the place, I want to talk about Basil John Waite Brown. Because in addition to being the guy who discovered Sutton Hoo, his entire background is just fun. He is, and I mean this, like you see AI videos of this stuff, like the most X-man in the world. This really is the most British man in the world. It's comical.
And his name is Basil, which I feel like...
Basil Brown. Yeah, Basil Brown. I mean, it's a cartoon.
Meet Basils anymore.
Yeah. Basil Brown.
Yeah.
So yeah, Basil Brown, he was born in Bucklesham. I mean, again, it's almost funny how British this is. I'm not making fun of you, Britain, but I am going to be chuckling at this a lot. He was born in Bucklesham, east of Ipswich, to John Brown and Charlotte Waite, who was the daughter of John Waite of Great Barrington, Gloucester. His father was a farmer, wheelwright, and agent for the Royal Insurance Company.
Wow.
Yeah. When he was born, they moved to Church Farm near Ringing Hall, and his dad began to work as a tenant farmer. What's cool about Basil is he was a very self-taught guy. When he was 5 years old, his grandfather gave him, and really, like, post-mortem, he inherited them, his astronomical texts. And when he was 5, he began to study those texts. Then he went to Rickinghall School, and he started getting private tutoring. And from a very young age, people were like, where's Basil? Where's Basil Brown? Basil Brown would be out in fields digging, like looking for artifacts. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, when he was 12, though, he left school. And that was to work on his dad's farm. But he was not to be dissuaded. He started taking evening classes. He earned a certificate in drawing, which I'm sure means something in England other than just you learned how to draw. 5 years later, he got diplomas with distinction for astronomy, geography, geology. And he got these. This is one of my favorite things because I forgot these existed. He learned all these things from the Harmsworth Self-Educator Correspondence College. Before all that, like DeVry, learn online stuff, there were colleges where you would literally, you'd buy textbooks, you'd study, and then you'd send in your reports to the mail, and then some rando would be like, B-. And that was how people could get diplomas in the middle of nowhere without having to go to university.
And when was this? Like, when was he doing this?
This was between 1902 and 1907.
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, even more interestingly, he bought some Latin and French books, and he listened to radio broadcasts in Latin and French. In doing so, he learned to speak both languages fluently. And he also learned more or less conversational Greek, German, and Spanish.
So he was just really smart. Because I feel like you can't learn how to do those things, especially when you're older. You can't just pick up languages like that. That's not normal.
Yeah. No, I mean, very impressive. Absolute Renaissance man. But unfortunately, or fortunately, all of these are iffy. World War I broke out. And they took one look at him. They didn't actually say this. I'm making this up. But they took one look at him and they were like, Wallace, where's Gromit? You're unfit to fight. Because this dude totally looks like Wallace and Gromit without Gromit. It's insane. He is cartoonishly British. But despite the fact that he was considered unfit, he he volunteered with the Suffolk Royal Army Medical Corps. And from 1918 to 1919, he, helped treat people on the front lines. Then shortly, a few years later, he married Dorothy May Oldfield, who was a domestic servant and daughter of Robin Oldfield for Ramplingham Estate. I just love how flippin' British all this stuff is. But now on to the real stuff. His astronomical work was really remarkable, too. He observed the final stages of the transit of Mercury with an aperture telescope, which is not a fancy telescope. He mapped and cataloged stars. And, he just did a lot of things for fun in astronomy. So he was very fascinated with the heavens, but not nearly as fascinated as he was with what was under the earth. And that leads to the actual main topic. So what had happened was he had a suspicion that these burial mounds near Sutton Hoo, which for centuries was called Sutton Farm and then sometimes Hoo Farm and finally ultimately just became known as Hutton Sioux. He actually went to a little festival and talked to some of the museum curators, and he's like, I'm not an archaeologist, but I like to dig stuff up for fun. I'm really into stuff. And I think there's something there. With your all's permission, I would like to dig up some of these barrows and see what's there. And they were like, sure. They've only been around for millennia and nobody's really had an interest. Why not? So they did. And they found some remarkable things. They found cremation burials. They found absolute ancient things, Frankish throwing axes, and the ashes of a man and a horse, which could be a soldier and his trusty steed who died in battle, or it could have been some sort of sacrifice. A man who was buried with his horse, similar things. This was during a period, the Bell Beaker culture firmly believed in rebirth, and quite often you'd be buried with really important goods for either for the afterlife or for if when you were reincarnated, for you to recognize who you were. We've talked a little bit about that before with the Neanderthal cults and things like that. There is a plaque, miniature carved plaque, showcasing Victoria, the Roman goddess of victory. And actually, I think she actually was I know she was renamed Nike, but I think she originally began as kind of a sign of victory over the First Punic War. And I only mention that because we all know my thoughts on the Punic Wars, because we've talked about it quite a bit. There were remains of horses, cattle, sheep, deer, pigs, all of which that had been burnt, presumably again as things for the dead to take with them. Ivory boxes, skull fragments, decorative foil, a bag of chatelaine, which is interesting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but before people had proper belts and toolboxes, people wore these really elaborate, ornate golden and silver decorative belts that you could suspend through chains. Useful stuff: scissors, thimbles, watches, keys, smelling salts, seals, anything that you would need for your job. They found fire steels. They found bridles. They found tons and tons of earthenware in various mounds. Just all sorts of really interesting things that give us a great view of a myriad of cultures. But really, the piece de resistance for what they found was two things, really. A massive, massive burial ship. You know, you hear about Viking funerals, and Alex has shown that they were not burned, you know, because otherwise you just get ashy, scalded corpses that wash ashore. But it was littered with this particular ship, gold and garnet fittings on a beautiful, iconic helmet. The nose is gold. The mustache is gold, and it's so intricately crafted. I highly recommend looking at a picture of it. It appears to have been inspired by all the cultures that at the time had existed in the 17th century in the area. So it was Irish and Pictish and Anglo-Saxon and probably Jute as well. The culture, not the material. The milfoil and the enamel work is hard to believe in terms of it's just so sophisticated and gorgeous. I would struggle to believe someone could make something like that now, and it was made in, again, through the 6th to the 9th centuries.
Yeah.
Just a positively beautiful thing. They also found bowls and spoons and just all the things that people had in their both their daily life and their wartime life through these eras. And one thing that they noticed that they thought was interesting is that the body interred there on their right were weapons of war. Spears, angons, which is kind of like a javelin, just things like that. And incidentally, the angons, they were thrust through the handle of a bronze bowl. And I don't think we know like why that was, if there was some symbolic or religious reason for it. There was a wand with a wolf depicted on it, a sword with gold and garnet. Again, just beautiful, ornate, intricate things. There was a massive buckle that looks almost alien in how beautifully it was fabricated, made with gold and some sort of yellow stone. I'm thinking maybe citrine. Just absolutely gorgeous stuff. There was an ornamental purse lid. I mean, just all these amazing things. One of the ones that really stands out to me was the lid itself actually has a sheet on horn, and the horn is very, I keep saying the word intricate, but it shows garnet cells, like thin little layers of garnet, little plaques showing birds and wolves eating men. And the logic there is that has to do with the master of animals, which is a very ancient motif. It's something that we see in Mesopotamia. It's something we see in Greco-Roman, Egyptian culture, and apparently this may be the first instance of this being shown in Anglo-Saxon culture. So just another wonderful example of that stream of consciousness that connects multiple cultures. Lots of shillings from Frankish origin. Just all sorts of really cool things. Gold ingots, blank coins, obelisks, which those are little weights that you also use as a currency. And it's actually believed, we don't know this, but it's believed that the obelisks were actually used to pay the oarsmen, not the oarsmen who were.
What's an oarsman?
Somebody who oars a boat.
Oh,
but
okay.
not oarsmen who worked.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, I don't know.
not these weren't oarsmen who worked at the funeral or anything, or people who worked for the king. These were ghostly oarsmen. This was like Charon in Greek mythology. Oarsmen. These were the guys who were being paid to take him to the afterlife.
Okay, so it wasn't a normal oarsman. I swear.
Another cool thing that I think is just really neat is there were a lot of drinking vessels, and a lot of them were made from auroch horns.
Cups.
And auroch horns have been extinct since, I don't know, the 13th or 14th century. So, you guys know what an auroch is?
No.
Oh, so okay. It's they were these massive cow-like animals. They're 100% related to cows, but because killing them was seen as kind of a sign of valor, a lot of young noblemen would hunt them and get their heart and be like, I'm a tough hunter, which back when people used bows and arrows made sense, but then when guns came around, they just killed them all. So very unfortunate. There's actually been attempts to bring them back through genetic research because they're related to cows. But there was a Roman consular scepter. There was just all these amazing things.
They found a couple things, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were. Oh gosh.
Out of all of these things, James, what would you say is the most profound item that was found at this particular site?
I mean, it's the symbol of the site. When people think of the site, they think of that beautiful helmet. All in all, though, these things, these artifacts, they were donated to the British Museum. But if you were to sell them, and please don't rob the museum, but if you were to sell them, the value of all these things, all these gold and silver items and amazing artifacts, you're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's a pretty penny.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, that's me.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. Well, speaking of underground, mine's also kind of underground, but not really, actually. Mine's
oh, gosh.
What?
Wait, he didn't... This is a surprise. Dear listener, Alex refused to tell both James and myself what he was talking about today.
Not because it's anything special necessarily.
Oh, okay. Let's talk up
your.
Right.
Let's talk up.
You're
your
hyping
segment.
it. I didn't hype it. I just wanted to be like, I'm not doing treasure.
Oh,
in
okay.
the conventional sense.
Okay, so you just wanted to stick it to the man.
You know,
stick it to James.
I used to stick it to the man quite a bit on this show, and I hadn't done it in a while.
Yeah.
I decided it was time.
So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about screaming mummies.
Screaming mummies.
Gosh.
Yeah, they're their own archaeological treasure.
Okay,
that were lost and now have been found.
When I think about screaming mummies, I think about when they tried to recreate that mummy's voice.
Oh, funny you should say that.
Uh-oh.
I got a clip for you. This is the real treasure. I'm going to go ahead and say nothing is going to beat this, so we're going to start on a high note.
Okay.
This is a clip from CBS in the Morning's report on the recreation of this vocal cord.
Okay.
Alex and I watch this occasionally and just laugh.
So it's a 12-second clip, so be patient with me. Okay? Just everybody enjoy this. Right. Here, I'm going to start it over.
Were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's the screaming mummy. That is a treasure. Being able to know what he probably sounded like through the recreation of his vocal cords. Tell us about these screaming mummies, please.
Scientists worked tirelessly to provide that.
Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm envious. Anyway. Now, those vocal.
Oh no, James, he's gone off on a on a giggle.
Yep, it was inevitable.
Yeah,
This is what you saw me giggling about.
he was laughing earlier, and he wouldn't tell me what was so funny.
Just think how many hundreds of hours went into that. Anyway,
Alex,
screaming mummies.
let's see if we can get through this. Oh,
All right. Oh, so anyway, nothing's as good as that, but just stick with me. Oh.
we'll have to give him a second, James.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him this out of sorts before. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord help us.
Okay. All right. So the screaming mummies were discovered.
Go get some water, okay?
I'm crying.
He is. He's got
Yeah, I can't believe it.
rolling down his face from a mummy screaming.
Can you imagine?
Here we go.
CBS. Check out this awesome scoop we got. I can't wait to show people what this mummy sounded like. Their head in this.
Listen, having worked in news, I can tell you that news team, the editor that pieced that together, is probably laughing their butt off putting
sure.
it together. But that's besides the point. I'm hoping that your topic is more than just that scream.
I mean, it's just not gonna be. It's just not gonna be any better.
You guys, James, we might have to write Alex off for this topic. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this.
No, all right, I'm doing the screaming woman mummy.
Okay, go
All
on.
right, all right. So there's actually a series of mummies that are screaming. Okay,
Okay.
They're not all related to each other.
Are their mouths
They're-
open like they were yelling when they died?
That's what they say. When I look at them, I just look like they're like mildly inconvenienced, or just like a little more stoic or different than other mummies. But they're called screaming mummies because of, I guess, obvious reasons, in that they do look like they were in some sort of agony at the time of death, or maybe during the process. Some people were thinking that. So, for the screaming woman mummy in particular, the reason hers is so unusual is that her organs were all left inside her body, as well as her brain.
Oh.
So immediately, that's like kind of a red flag, right? Usually with a typical mummification process, you liquefy and pull out everything.
That makes me think that there was some type of illness, and they're like, we don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's... That's one theory. There's a lot of theories on what could have caused this. Now, the other thing that's odd about it, obviously, is the permanent screaming look on her face. But they don't know if this is because she was because maybe they embalmed her while she was alive. They buried her alive, possibly.
That's terrible.
They're wondering if these types of things could have happened to her that caused her to have this agony on her face. But what they really settled on with this screaming mummy in particular is that she died in a lot of agony and her face stayed that way. Oh. The reason they say that is they think maybe a heart attack or something like that is the reason that she died. Now, there's a lot of cursory explanations for why screaming mummies in general have the look on their face. It could be just how their face settled after the fact. It could be some sort of like the decomposition of them. It could also be a cultural or maybe a ritual intention. Some people, I don't know if I buy into this, but it's actually not a bad idea, and it's that, what if it's screaming to ward away things?
That was my first thought, actually.
And that's what some people seem to think. It might be a symbolic reason for this. The reason that people don't think it's a bad thing is because despite the organs and the brain being intact, she is wrapped in very expensive materials. They seem to think that the writings on the sarcophagus are indicating that she is of a high status. And so there's no real reason why I guess she's getting a different treatment than a lot of these other mummies and other screaming mummies. So they used the resins that they used, which were, again, really expensive, were like frankincense and juniper, which is from like Arabia or Somalia. So pretty good little hike. But it also suggests that maybe there was some sort of rush reason on why they had to get this done as quickly as possible. So that's kind of what they think about her. She's even like really well preserved even now, despite the rush job. Her hair was dyed and her skin was treated with like these expensive ointments that have all led to, like, again,
incredible,
considered a bad mummification,
yeah,
but it's actually really well preserved.
Yeah.
So she's pretty interesting. There's a lot of unknown mans, unknown man E and unknown. Oh my gosh, what a tongue twister! Unknown. My voice is kind of going after laughing.
Yeah,
I'm noticing. Unknown man E and unknown man D. There's, I'm sure there's an A through all the other letters as well, but. Another one that they were a little concerned about when they found him, unknown man E, in 1881, they found him in a tomb that contained 50 other mummies. This was a hidden tomb, pushed off, cordoned off. And apparently this was also relocated for safety in 1000 BC. I don't think they really know that.
It's an assumption.
Yeah. But this young man that's in this tomb, unknown man E, the screaming man. He's 18 to 20 years old, and he's found bound with ropes and wrapped in unclean sheepskin. So that is a sign of disgrace in Egyptian culture.
That's not
dirty
good.
sheepskin. You didn't even get the clean stuff, man.
So this is in Egypt?
Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, this is in Egypt, and this one is also poorly embalmed as well, without organ removal or resins. So didn't get any of the good stuff. So this one is a different scenario than the screaming woman in that he was denied proper burial rites, as punishment, they believe. They did a DNA analysis in 2018, and they think that he is actually they believe that he is related to Pharaoh Ramses III.
Oh.
Meaning that this might be Prince Pentawere, who is he is part of the harem conspiracy, and it sounds like James knows a little bit more about this than I do. But in the harem conspiracy, he was involved in the plot to assassinate his father. Well,
/ uncle / cousin because of the pharaohs, but yeah.
yes. And it doesn't seem like it went the way he wanted it to, because his body shows signs of strangulation. So probably got either choked to death, or even possibly was buried alive or poisoned. A lot of ifs, ands, or buts. But they said that there's a compressed neck vertebrae, which makes them think it's strangulation. And they think that his scream might be from agony or the other obvious answer, rigor mortis.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting. Now, it says that there are records from the conspiracy trial that describe Pentaware's... and I see that these are the things about history that I'm always confused about. They say Pentaware's suicide or his execution. I'm like, well, it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm inclined to think he was permitted to take his own life as a royal, but at the same time, they probably desecrated the heck out of his body so it wouldn't be a problem later.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And
but
what's really scary, Queen Tia, who was involved, we don't know what her punishment was. They didn't write it down. So it must have been bad.
Yeah, they said, we don't want this going anywhere.
We don't have words for this.
Yeah.
But there are other screaming mummies as well. And again, the reasons for their faces range from all kinds of, sadly, pretty uninteresting theories. I was hoping to get a little more wild out there, but it really didn't. But they think post-mortem changes, something called a cadaveric spasm, where intense pain at death causes the immediate muscles to contract again. One thing I forgot to mention with the screaming woman is that she could have also been violently, she could have died violently. So something really bad could have happened.
If you've ever seen someone do a cadaveric spasm, it is one of the scariest things in the world.
I don't know if I ever want to see something like that.
It's bad.
I just can't imagine being like the explorer that found these mummies, because, usually they look pretty, obviously dead, but peaceful. But finding something like this would be like a horror movie, in my opinion. To find this mummy with a contorted face. I know, but it's freaky.
It is freaky. They said that also post-mortem changes could have caused any of these things: gases, the drying of the skin, or bad embalming. And really, I mean, that's kind of bad about it. But those are my screaming mummies.
So your treasure was the CBS news clip.
Yeah, I mean, they're the treasure in and of themselves, because they're very different and unique scenarios that we don't see too often.
That's true.
Especially the screaming woman. She's like kind of like this, because again, she was in a separate tomb, in a hidden tomb that they just happened to find.
Maybe it's Queen Tia.
Maybe.
I don't know.
James, look at you coming up with theories.
Let's see. So this doesn't help at all, but she was discovered in 1935, and he was in 1881. But that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then any guesses on age of stuff? I'm sorry, I don't believe it at this point. I don't think I can trust any carbon dating.
Alex has his skepticism.
Didn't they just find out that the life of DNA is actually much longer than we ever expected?
Yeah.
Didn't they think that dinosaurs? It was impossible to bring dinosaurs back because their DNA would have exceeded their half-life or whatever. It's not half-life, is it? That's nuclear.
It's not half-life, no.
But
they do degrade. Yeah.
They would have expired already or degraded it to a point where it would be impossible. But then they recently found I don't know. It's like a mammoth or some sort of dinosaur. It's like some sort of dinosaur thing, and the DNA was like way more intact than they could have ever imagined. It's like, okay, so you just didn't know, which is
I've
fine.
got an idea for a park. But
Exactly, Screaming Mummy Park.
I'm gonna hop in now, and I'm gonna talk about my topic.
Do you have a screaming?
I don't have a screaming mummy, but I have a very interesting thing that I'd never heard of before. And you know what, James? I feel like you going first has given me less concern, because at first I was like, I feel like I'm not hitting the brief with my topic, because it's treasure in my opinion, but it's not like, lost treasure that was found. It's it was lost at one point, but it's since been found. So I don't know. I was like, I feel like I'm not hitting the brief. But James, mine is very similar to what you talked about, except in a different area of the world. I'm talking about the burnt city of Iran.
yeah,
A.K.A. Shara Sukta.
Oh,
That's how they say it there. Yeah, it means burnt city. And it is just geographically inside the modern-day provinces of Elam and Khuzestan. I don't know if I've said that right, but it's over there. And and I'd never heard of this place before. And then thank you to my National Geographic calendar for...
Again?
Yes, this is 2 weeks in a row that I was like, wow, I want to talk about this and look more into it, so... Sparked some inspiration in my heart, but...
Teaser for next week.
No.
We know where she got her inspiration.
No, listen, this civilization is guesstimated, and I have the same skepticism when it comes to carbon dating that you have as well, Alex, but it's guesstimated to have started sometime around either 3500 BC to 3200 BC. So it was a long time ago. It was like 5,000 years ago. And to have run until around 1800 BC. And the reason it's called the Burnt City, James, I know that James already knows about it.
I bet there's a fire involved.
Is there a fire involved? Alex, there's not just one fire.
Oh.
Not just two fires.
Oh.
3 fires.
The trifecta.
Yes.
A hat trick.
It happened on 3 separate occasions. So the city was built where I'm not even going to say civilization. It was a civilization, but the society was built and then it burned. And it was rebuilt and it burned. It was rebuilt and then burned again. They were like, all right, we probably need to go.
Yeah, third time's not the charm.
They're not entirely sure why it was abandoned, but it probably had to do with the fires, would be my guess. They're finally
I think it's more likely that that last one was set by invaders or something, but yeah.
Well, I think that they were like, you know what, it's time for us to move after that that third go. But there are other theories as to why the city burned, and I'll get into some of those here in a minute, but I wouldn't be surprised, James, if that last one was a little bit more violent than the others. But excavations, and this place was recognized as like, an area of importance in 1915, but they didn't really start digging into it per se until the 60s, where they really started to find all these artifacts that, in my opinion, are treasures, okay? Yeah, the excavations have turned up some very interesting pieces of history, and this is some but not limited to, and these are just my favorites of the bunch, because they found a lot of things. I'm not going to list all of them off, but the incredible thing is a prosthetic eye.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was found in the eye socket of a woman, and she was most likely, an upper crust woman. She's probably of importance. And this eye supposedly had gold leaf on it, so it wasn't just like a normal prosthetic eye. It was a fancy prosthetic eye.
She probably looked so cool.
She probably did, and it's kind of miraculous because it was decorative, but when I think of ancient civilizations, I picture more crude medical practices, or lack thereof medical practices.
You don't know how they popped that eye out.
Clearly her eye.
They could have had a horse come over and suck on it.
Well, they were thinking about these things. They were thinking, how can we make this person feel happy about her eye being gone or whatever? And that's, anatomically they had to have the size right and all this stuff. So it wasn't just something that they could just do. They had to think about it,
Yeah.
And there's also evidence of possible cranial surgery. Supposedly of a skull. I read some places that it was, maybe an older teen or early 20s. And then I found places that said that it was perhaps a child that underwent surgery. And scientists, for some reason, think that the person survived. I don't know how they know that, but they're pretty certain. They think that this person survived the surgery and instead of being written off, which I think is really incredible. The fact that both of these findings, if it was a child, it's a child and a woman. So these people had worth. Burnt City recognized them as people, and it wasn't just like, oh, we're written off. Oh, you lost your eye. Oh, well, that sucks. Just carry on. They're like, no, we need to figure this out. So they were thinking about things, and they were thinking, how can we give quality of life to these people?
Huh.
Yeah. Another thing that they found, one of the earliest pieces of animation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had an art.
So
and
cool.
yeah, and it's not animation in the sense that we know it today. Like, it's not a cartoon, but they do have pieces of, like, pottery that have been found with sequential images on them. So when you turn this cup around, when you turn this goblet around, it looks like some animal, a goat or a sheep, is jumping up to eat leaves off of a tree.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a 5,000-year-old cartoon, and the amazing thing about this, for me, in my opinion, is the fact that they had all of the basics of survival covered. When you get to that point, that's when you can start thinking creatively. And that's what this ancient civilization was able to do. They were able to get to this point where they could create pieces of art on pottery and enjoy the things that they're coming up with.
That's a good point.
Yeah. On top of that, the third thing that has been found amongst all of these amazing treasures is advanced textiles and tailored clothing. When I picture ancient civilizations, I think of them like draping a piece of fabric over themselves or cutting a hole in a deer skin and wearing it as a shirt,
They're not cavemen.
They're not cavemen, but you don't think of something that is, this far back that has structure to it.
Yeah.
But they were able to create fabric. So they had looms. Looms have been found there. Needles have been found there. They were very intentional about what they were creating. And they also dyed these things. So they had to have a recipe for, hey, we want, green. Let's use these things to make green. So they were thinking about chemistry. They were using chemistry to create some of these things, which is amazing. An amazing feat back then. And this community had workshops or guilds where people could go and they could create and make things. Like, they were able to create things out of metal and stuff like that. So that's another reason, and a possible reason, that they're like, that might have contributed to perhaps the burning of this civilization at one point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they did know their copper smelting, and they did know their bronze crafting, which,
Yes.
a lot of metallurgy there.
Yep, and it comes with potential risk. So maybe that, and they, like, the houses here, it wasn't like they had, at least not to my knowledge, they didn't have pyramids or major buildings and architecture.
No, they interred their dead, but they'd lasted long enough to have like 40,000 people in a cemetery. So
Yeah, they had a huge cemetery with very what's the word I'm looking for? Symmetrical graves, I guess. I don't know. That's
yes.
not the right word that I'm looking for, but all the graves look the same, which consistent. There's some consistency there. But that takes planning and that takes coordination. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they also have symbolic artwork, like animals and human-like figures. So they had, a lot of them are believed to have to do with some type of religious or paying tribute to somebody with the stuff that they were creating, the artwork-wise. So they had belief system, and they also had pieces of artifacts rather. They also had artifacts that were not from the immediate area, which indicates that they were a trading hub, which is pretty cool. So they were probably connecting more well-known civilizations like Mesopotamia and China, because there was some overlap with the things that were going on in those places and this particular civilization.
Yep.
Yeah. Clay tablets with early writing. They have like accounting logs, which I think is amazing. 'Cause to me, it just looks like a whole bunch of lines on a clay tablet. But they're like, you know what? This shows the grain and how much grain they had. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That feels like a stretch, but it is something. You know, they were keeping track of something.
It is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have an ancient ruler. They were measuring things,
Yeah.
which is really nifty. James, what were you about to say?
Are you going to talk about the game?
Yes, that's my next one, James.
Okay, because that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah, they uncovered what is suspected to be the earliest board game known to man. And it looks like it was...
Don't wait, Daddy.
yeah, don't wake Daddy. It was like backgammon, but it even predates Mesopotamian games. And it has playing pieces. So the people here had enough time and, less worry about their survival where they were able to get into this place where they could enjoy games. And they also had ancient dice, which I think is absolutely crazy because you look at these dice and it looks like a dice that we would have today with 6, all of the different little markings on each side to indicate the number. And it's just like, man, they were doing things back then that I don't think that they were, doing later on. Like these things were kind of forgotten. Yeah, they had oil lamps and pots and housing and guilds and cemeteries, and the Burnt City is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but the thing that is really nifty is that it really does seem to slightly predate the major civilizations that everyone knows about and talks about. But I think the reason that it's kind of been brushed under the rug and it hasn't gotten the glory and fame that I personally think it deserves is because they didn't have those huge hallmarks that these ancient civilizations have, like the pyramids and all of that stuff. Like, there's not as much fanfare. To me, it was a more humble civilization. They were advanced enough where they could do these things and explore these things, but they were almost quiet about it,
Yeah.
And I don't think that they were stealing from, and by stealing I mean like stealing ideas from other civilizations around them. I think that they were actually very innovative, and they were able to do these things by themselves without outside influence, which is remarkable. But advanced medicine without modern science is just like, they were practicing science back then. They had animation, they had fashion, which I don't think about until, later on in history. And yeah, that's the Burnt City. I think it's absolutely amazing, and it is a treasure, and I wish more people knew about it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sources were UNESCO, Dr. Kava Faraka, the Tehran Times. There's a lot of really interesting stuff. I recommend everybody look up these artifacts online because it is, it kind of, for me, puts the whole timeline and what we know, history, and how it operated. It makes the lines a little more blurry for me, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if we really truly know the timeline that we're in. Yeah.
I would like to add to that the people who did this, the Helmand culture. I think they probably influenced the Akkadians more than the other way around, like what you were referencing.
Yeah.
And I just think it's bizarre. I mean, obviously languages evolve and change, but the language that they probably spoke, Elamite, probably didn't go extinct until 1000 AD.
Yeah.
So that's 6,000 years of the same language. I can't think of a language that's been spoken consistently that long.
It's I wish that more people knew about it. I was very happy to learn about this place, and dear listener, I hope that you enjoyed our discussion of treasures, various treasures, and the CBS sound clip that you got to hear today. I hope that you enjoyed it all. James, do you have a word of wisdom for us before we part ways?
It's less a word and more a phoneme.
There you have it. You better be careful, James. You're going to set Alex off on another laughing rant. Alex, who does our music?
Our music is by Grant Cook. You can find his music on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere you listen to music.
So until next week, we hope that you can keep it strange.
Keep it strange.
Yeah.